Hello chaps. Independent Media Association covering news topics. I'm just on my way to the police headquarters of Northern Ireland on Knock Road. Again, thanks to Christine McGann, who said I would not have the nerve, swingers, whatever, on many messages about the COVID site in Ballymena, which I did, explaining to me how many laws I was breaking. Privacy laws, it was a government site, photography was illegal, I was breaking the law, blah blah blah. And no matter how many times I explained to her that I could film anything I could see from public, and even though they had taken part a section of a car park on showgrounds, the showgrounds were rented off the council, the car park main gates were wide open, and we all know section 33 1972 Criminal Justice Act made it a public space. Then she tried, I couldn't film, point my camera into their private areas. Again, I said, if you want privacy, you have to create it yourself. Put up a fence. At home, put up curtains. As I explained to her, even technically we can film into somebody's house if we are that callous, stupid, without any basic decency. So here we are on the Knock Road. This is the start. As you can see, this is the start of the police headquarters. Big place. This is where you come to get interviewed. It's now the Police Service of Northern Ireland, not the RUC anymore. But this is a pleasant walk in the country. Hi. A pleasant country walk. Even though, as you can see, we have many security cameras. Many security fences. Afternoon. Sorry about that, peeps. Didn't want to record the young mothers with their babies in the pram. So, this is actually a very substantial area. And again, signs telling me I'm being monitored.
There you go. Many years ago, I went here for an interview when I was young and stupid and 18 to join the police because it was expected in my culture, in my family. It's unusual for us to get such nice weather in this God-forsaken little country. So yes, as I said, it was expected in my culture that the second son would join the police or the army or do something like that. Old hangovers from, well, older days. So I applied, I went through the process, and in those days, even in the height of the troubles, in those days, the vetting process took 6 months. Then you went to Enniskillen for training for a long, long time, but thankfully I got refused on the initial interview, which is okay. I didn't reapply, did me a favour. A chap I went to the interview with, became friends with later, told me he had to apply 6 times before they accepted him. And it's 6 months for an application process. That was somewhere in the region of 3 years. He was applying and getting refused, and applying and getting refused. Not so fussy these days, but still I do believe that the PSNI have a far better selection process even today than the mainstream British police. They seem to take anybody. They don't seem to train them on any level. Whoops. This is also secure rear off the headquarters. It's an extensive site. Prime retail, right? Or shall we say prime development location. In a very residential part of Belfast. Old buildings, new buildings, all sorts of buildings, and behind there, from what I see, a double security fence in there. I don't know exactly what all to do. Administration, torture prisoners. Who can tell? But oops. Gimwell seems to want to do everything. I go everywhere that I don't. I'll get the hang of it. It seems to be trying to do the opposite of everything I'm trying to do. So yes, I come out and do this alone, my walk around. Now if this was the UK, it would be all sorts of hostile reconnaissance at the perimeters, blah blah blah, section 43. And as you can see, a multitude of cameras. And I have no doubt in the north of Ireland, where there are still local terrorist groups, we are being monitored. And as you can see, it's extensive. I hope again today that we don't get any grief. I'd hate them to disprove my theory that the police and the government officials here are a lot more trained, a lot more tuned in, a lot more respectful of our rights. But who knows, who can tell? We have all sorts. You're going to love this one. All very digital, all very modern, all very technical. Isn't it great? After 6 p.m. on weekdays, gates closed, a light from vehicle will produce ID. You know, again, as I say, world cards and passes must be shown. Quite a few looking at me, but nobody approaching me. CCTV in operation. I'm also a firm believer that all of you English auditors, you cause conflict. You go out, you hassle. Some of them are quite rude and cheeky, and in fact, if some auditors spoke to me, they did speak to some security staff, etc., without actually being provoked. I would actually insert their camera where the sun don't shine. Maybe it's me, maybe it's a different generation, but I was taught that manners cost nothing. As I taught my kids, people with manners go places. But in our modern society, I'm afraid manners seems to have disappeared. And as you can see, this is the police headquarters of Belfast, Northern Ireland actually. Oops. And Northern Ireland, whenever they talk about, oh, we're on high alert, the threat level is severe. The threat level is always severe in Northern Ireland. Unless you forgot, 20 years ago we signed a peace process with a number of different terrorist groups who promised to give in their weapons, blah blah blah. And since that, not as many, but there still has been attacks on the police, on the government, on businesses. Koi pond specialists. A little oasis. Now here we go, more traffic. I have to say, peeps, I'm not gonna walk around. I counted possibly 6 security staff in the signers at the security gates, taking everybody's details as they went in and out. They all looked at me. And nobody has approached me. Which actually reinforces, well, look at this, isn't this a beautiful part of Belfast? You wouldn't think that for 30, 40 years people were scared to travel, go anywhere, go out in their cars. People were scared of the IRA and the bombs and the terror. And when you look at it now, yes, it's 20 years, but to tell the truth, there is still a constant threat of terrorism. It's not called terrorism anymore, it's called gangsterism now, I believe, because all the terrorist groups are now community groups. And as I believe, a lot of them are community groups getting large community grants from the government offices to be good. They get grants not to paint sectarian slogans on walls. They can't just build a big pile of wood and rubbish and have a bonfire to celebrate the 12th. Or the August on the other side, bonfires and tournament. They have to have risk assessments, they have to speak to the local councils, they have to have insurance and public liability, and then they will get grants. By the way, just in case you're wondering, I'm standing directly opposite the gate. You know, and still getting the odd glance, still getting the odd look at. But you think of police headquarters by now, a squad car would have dallied along. And at least tried to ascertain my details. I'm getting too old for this shit, by the way, people. That's why I bring my trusty cane. So what I'm going to do now is call this one a day. And now what I'll do is one last look over at the Great Knot. That's it, the Great Knot Police Centre. I will wander off up here and I will piss off and do an army base in Lisburn. How's that sound? So, I'm a cunt, as always, independent media association covering news topics, signing off, wishing you all fucking peace, love and harmony, live long and prosper, all that bulk and mind, well, shit. See you again.